Okay, are we ready to listen? Yes. Are we ready? Yes, we are.
Overall,
I want to read a speech from the ethnic community. Are we ready? Yay! Dear brothers and sisters, dear, dear brothers and sisters, thank you for joining us this afternoon to show your solidarity and support for all refugees and immigrants living here in the area. We could not have been more grateful during time like this, where it has been extremely agonizing to just do nothing and let things pass. Your presence today means a lot. When it's very transparent that dubious and targeted quote-unquote news stories are run with an intent to instigate fear against our fellow community members, it's time for us to unite together to clarify that misinformation and be heard as loudly as clear as possible. Dr. Martin Luther King once said, our life begins to end today. The day we become silent about things that matter. We are here this afternoon to break our silence. If we don't do this now, we'll lose our voice forever. Keep in mind, we are just not doing this for us, but we are doing this for our children who are being raised here and go to school here. We need to protect them in this great nation of ours. What Valley News did is not acceptable. They violated their basic journalism principles and any journalistic integrity. If they had any left to go one step beyond to classify as vector for disease, we are not mosquitoes. We are survivors with families and children who fled violence, persecution, wars, and death. Likewise, many of our immigrant friends are here by choices, who are all serving this community by one way or the other. We are all foreign born, but we have accepted this nation as our own, and we deserve to be accepted and respected in return. We are not different than any immigrant who came to this great nation 100 years ago. Let this event be a lesson for any news agency and reporter whose intent is nothing but to garner rating and steer the boat for no reason other than political and financial gain. We condemn the Valley News attempt to target us and the attempt of fear-mongering by framing us. We are not Trojan horses bringing disease or a ticking bomb. All of us here after declared for admission after stringent medical examination before arrival. All of us are here after cleared for admission after stringent medical examination before arrival. We demand Valley News to apologize for what they did and demand immediate administrative action against Bradford Eric, the reporter, Ika Walker, the news director, and Jim Warren, the channel general manager. We believe all three involved in sensationalizing the affect story for the main rating, political and financial gain. And let me... Apologize! Okay, I will invite the Deputy Mayor Mike Williams to speak a little bit.
Thanks so much for coming, everybody. You know, everybody knows that the number one asset that we have here in Fargo and North Dakota is our people, and you are our people, and we're happy to have you here. It makes me proud. You know, in America, we get to stand up for what we believe is true, and peaceful assembly is one of those critical, important rights, and you guys are doing a nice job with it. You know, this the way the news is working, we need to make sure that they try to get it right. In North Dakota, in Fargo, we're one of the lowest rates of tuberculosis in the country. Just over 1% of the 100,000 population actually has active tuberculosis. There's latent tuberculosis, but our health officials in Fargo and in Grand Forks and in Cass County and in the state say that it's not an item that isn't treatable. These people that have moved here from overseas have been screened. Some of them have 30 pages of health reports. They've been doing a wonderful job trying to work with you and show that we have health care. We can treat tuberculosis, and it's not a large issue. There are real issues in Fargo. Heroin overdoses are a large issue. That's worth news reporting. This sensationalistic report that tuberculosis is out of the normal for our area just isn't so. I think we're 44th lowest in the country, and like I said, it's just not an item that's not a treatable problem. So I want to thank all of you for your assembly here. I want to thank you for choosing Fargo. Some of you didn't get to choose Fargo, but we want you to stay here. So. Fargo's gotten better over the last 20 years, and that just happens to be when you guys started coming over from the refugee program. And all of you aren't refugees, but we're just happy to have you, and thanks a lot. Here comes Mayor Williams from Moorhead.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I want to welcome Moorhead Mayor Del Rey.
You know, it's fabulous to see such a great group here. Thank you for coming out. It's not only people from the New American community, but a ton of people from the community that has not belonged to that group. And that is so very important for us to show up and make sure that they know that this is not something we want happening in our community. And I gotta say, you know, for a mayor, it is not the easiest thing to stand up against a media group. I want my news to go out. I want it to be positive news. And to do this is not an easy thing. But I gotta tell you, when it needs to be said, it just needs to be said, because this is important. We can't have it at risk. Our community cannot be at risk by journalism that is false. It can't be at risk because people get excited about things that are not true. This is just very important. And weirdly, this morning, you know, if you're on Facebook, you get these pastime ones. And so in 2011, I had put this on, and I was going to say it really holds true. And for those of those that aren't Minnesotans here or haven't been living in Minnesota for a long time, we are very proud of our Senator Paul Wellstone, and this is his quote. And then I said, if you don't fight hard enough for the things we stand for, at some point we have to recognize that we really don't stand for them. And so today we're showing that we stand for this. We won't stand for this kind of abuse of our community. We will stand for things that are true. And I greatly appreciate everybody being here. This is very important. And thank you.
For a reason to honor our unity, to stand up against the bully, and to clarify that we are not a threat. News outlets like bad news are the ones that are a threat to any community like ours, who will take advantage of their use base to spread false rumor, accusation, and promote xenophobia. We are better than this. We don't carry disease, we carry society burden. Enough is enough. Let's be hard. Let the march begin. Barry Nelson wants to speak also. Let me give him a chance.
Greetings. Thank you for showing up for what's right. My name is Barry Nelson, and just this morning, Sharif, a friend of mine, reminded me that I was the person at the airport greeting him 21 years ago when he stepped off the plane as a refugee from Somalia. 21 years ago. Wow, that's a really long time. So it could be a chance to have a little bit of walking down memory lane with that whole story. The thing I remember when people from Somalia first came to Fargo was how anxious they were to learn about the laws, the rules, the practices, and the customs of this place. Every time we met with the community leaders, they came prepared with questions about what would make living in Fargo easier. In fact, one time I remember them coming and saying, what are the burial practices in this area? Because my alarm response was, is somebody really ill? And the response was, you never know. So anyway, there's this whole thing about, I think, which is indicative of everybody coming here, is they want to know how to live in our community, like I did when I first moved here. Fargo has become a place where people could come to begin new lives. People from around the state, the region, the country, the world have made this place to call home. I was one of those people. Sharif is another one of those people. Together, Fargo has become a world-class city. We are gathering as much to celebrate that world-classiness as to make sure that everyone in our community feels welcome, included, and most importantly, safe. I am disturbed by the fact that some in our community seem to have an agenda to disturb that sense of community. I am very disturbed and angry that some members of my community are feeling targeted with misinformation, fear, and hate. Along the way, I have come to know many people like Sharif. I have come to see how many of the values we share, the value of family, of community, of business, of getting along. I have had the privilege of calling them friends, brothers, and sisters. I believe I speak for the vast majority of the citizens of our community when I say, we value you, we support you, you are one of us.
So what we're going to do, we're going to march from here and then go to Kmart and then come back to here and then after that we're going to